Welcome, welcome, everyone. Let's see if we've got anyone here yet. Let's give it some time for people to come in. And I probably should have put out more notices about this live. I talked about it in the last video I put out, but I think that some people might have not, uh, watched. Or I should say they watched, but they didn't look at the live feed where I announced it in the live chat. I see people coming in. Okay, so I hope y'all are doing well. I want to do, just a quick check-in with y'all. I'm thinking I'm going to do this once a month because I do like to, stay in touch with my people and, maintain that relationship with y'all. I don't want to just be somebody who's throwing up videos and, not really getting a dial tone on my audience and what you guys need and want. And I want to make sure that I'm really plugged into, whatever's going on in your lives and that we're relating. And this is not just like a one-way conversation where I'm just like putting stuff out there. I want to make sure I'm putting stuff out that you guys resonate with. And also, I gotta keep you guys updated on what's going on with this channel. And so I'm gonna make a couple announcements about what's happening with the October readings, but I'm gonna let some more people come in. And thanks to any of you who are going to give me a like. It really helps me to get promoted on YouTube. Like, they feature people more prominently if you have more likes, and I've been seeing that particularly when I've been premiering videos on my channel. Y'all been really good to put those likes on there, and that's helping me out a lot. So and I wanted to respond to a comment that I got. Hi, Nina. Good morning. She says from Manila. Oh, this is so awesome to hear from people outside of the U.S. I mean, I love my people, right? But so cool to see people coming in from all over. I've got some clients from Germany and Estonia and Israel, and oh my gosh, it's just exciting to see, different people coming in from different places. Canada, oh yeah, So thanks for joining, and thanks for the like. I see I've already got one. Thank you. And yeah, so I wanted to, like I said, give you guys some announcements, maybe talk a little bit about astrology. I'm going to respond to a comment that somebody left, T. Witten, one of my favorite, viewers, because, she's a talker and I'm a talker. And by the way, I got to say this up front that, I don't want to play favorites here with anybody, but it's kind of like the general rule is the squeakiest wheel gets greased first. So if you want to talk, and usually people like to get warmed up in the very beginning. They're really quiet, like right now. But then as the live goes on, people warm up and get more talkative. And if I can't keep up with the comments, then I'm sorry. I'm not at all trying to ignore anybody. But I just want to let you guys know that if you want to talk. Squeakiest wheel gets greased first. And I'm a talker. I want to talk. You just got to write it out, okay? And I gotta say that because I think the last time I went live, there was, I think, maybe some feeling that I was playing favorites, and believe me, I'm not. I'm really not, okay? Although I do really like my moderators because they kick the nonsense out. We did have a bit of that the last time, and so I gotta say, if you're watching and you got an itch that you need to scratch, if you know what I mean, it ain't over here. I ain't got it for you, honey. Go to some other website, okay? Because we're not having it. We're not having it. I want to make sure that I'm focused on my people, okay? Not this random, depraved, you know what, okay? All right, so where do I want to begin? Do you guys want to hear about the astrology first? Do you want to hear my response to a comment, which maybe ties into the astrology? Hi, I think it's Nalina. Hello. And I recall you from yesterday. You commented. Thank you so much for the comment you left on my video. Did y'all see the video I put out yesterday about healing divine feminine energy? Because yeah, it's long, it's comprehensive, okay, but I'm partly trying to do that with my channel. I'm trying to put up like reference material, self-help stuff, so in the future people can, you know, refer back to it, and especially if they're wanting to do self-healing. So right out the gate, you know, these kind of videos, they might be a little bit heavy mentally, but they're going to be resources that people can come back to over time, and they're going to be like reference. That's what I'm hoping to put out on the channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and let me know if you want to hear more content about you know, women's issues, okay? Like, because I talked in that video about us stepping into alpha female status in order to attract alpha males, and so would you guys be interested in that? I should say, ladies, be interested in that kind of content. Also dealing with the single lives. I know many of you are single, as am I. Would you like me to put out more content about that? Would you like to hear more about, you know, beta males, dealing with beta males? I've actually coached over the last 5 years. I've relationship coached several younger men, and I've learned a lot about this, and I've thought about putting some content out about that, and I've also, one of them has agreed to let me interview him, so that might be something that we can get on, you know, a video, is really listening to the male perspective and understanding where they're coming from, and I'm kind of excited about getting that out. Melina says, love the truth of your content. Thank you. Some people, you know, they love it or they hate it, and I'm just going to speak my truth, you know, and hopefully that will help me to align with the people who can receive that, and those who can't, oh well, you know, they're not my people, they're not my tribe. So thank you for being part of my tribe, Nalina. And those of you who don't already know, my channel right now is going through a lot of changes. I'm in a major transition where I'm re-niching. And so I was putting out a lot of readings, you know, tarot readings in the past, astrology, and it was very time sensitive, heavy productivity type of work, where you're constantly producing like you're a rat on this, you know, treadmill. And, you know, I don't want to get started on that, but the point is that I realize, you know, I got to get off this treadmill, and I got to start putting out evergreen content that is ageless, timeless, that's actually helping people to have better relationships, less talking the problem, more talking the solution. And that's the kind of content I want to put out. And I see a message in Spanish from, I think it's Saltec, and I speak broken Spanish because I'm from Texas, so you might want to translate. Con liberty mutual solo pagas con necesitas. with Liberty Mutual only something with necessity. I don't know. You see, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah. I took Spanish 1 and 2 in college, which doesn't amount to jack here in Texas because they don't speak Castilian Spanish out here. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. You know, I'm switching the content, and you're getting a taste of that already with me talking about relationships, women's issues, divine femininity, you know, a lot more. I'm going to add random stuff in here and there, like I added a conscious politics playlist. I know most of you aren't into that. I am, though, and so I'm not going to make it the, you know, bulk of this channel, but I am trying to diversify so that it's a well-rounded channel, because what I don't like is how, you know, we readers are being kind of pigeonholed into one little box. Like, you know, I don't want to be that tarot reader lady or that astrology lady. I want to be, you know, all of me. And I want people who are connecting with me, not just like, I'm here for this little sliver of you and then I'm out, you know, because those are not the true fans. And I've been saying this for over a year now, that all I really need is 1,000 true fans. I don't need, you know, 100,000 fake fans. Those people are falling away, and they will continue to, and that's fine with me, because again, it's part of this shifting away from that productivity, which I talked about in the last video with divine feminine energy. We've got to get into more of, as women, more of a creative type of flow, not this compulsory productivity type of work. And I know YouTube rewards that, but you know, it's draining. It's draining, and it doesn't have a good return on investment. So Melina is saying, yes, more about what you talked about yesterday. Thank you. And oh, there's Coffee on Keyboard. Good to hear from you. She says, I appreciate the truth too. I heard someone say earlier, life is hard in all directions for all of us. No use making it harder for anybody. So true. Yeah, and that's what I want to do. I want to kind of edify and add to your life. And I feel the downfall of tarot, although there's many good things that I like about it, and I'm, you know, I want to continue with tarot, okay? But the downfall with tarot is that a lot of time it's about talking the problem, not the solution. And then, you know, people aren't growing from this, and you do tend to attract an audience of a lot of people who are lonely, and they want to feel like they have somebody to talk to, or that understands them, somebody that's compassionate, somebody that is encouraging them. That's what they're looking for really in the tarot reading. They're not really looking for truth or spiritual empowerment. They just want to feel better about their life, whether it's based on any reality or truth or not. And they don't want to have to do the work, because that's uncomfortable. That might involve them getting out of a comfort zone, or, you know, taking risks, or, you know what I'm saying? And they don't want to do it, and I don't want to attract those people. You know, I don't want to be connected with those kind of, I want to be connected with people who are actually trying to improve their lives. And those of you who have come to me for private readings, you know that when I do the astrology and I do the tarot, I also, you know, incorporate that life coaching and the relationship coaching, and I really try to use those modalities, those tools, to guide you into what's, you know, probably the most right and fitting for you, given your unique energetic signature. But I don't want to, you know, I think the general readings are feeding to some people who are, I hate to say, narcissistic. I feel bad saying it, but this, again, this is the truth. This is the ugly truth. There's a lot of people out there who want their favorite subject is themselves, and they want to talk about themselves or have someone to talk about them 24/7. And that's why they're addicted to tarot. And that's why, they're not growing. They're not, spiritually, they're not healing, because it's really not about that for them. It's about, let's talk about me all day. And so I know if you're, if you and I resonate, that's probably not you. I'm saying a lot of the tarot channels are unfortunately attracting that kind of vampire type of energy, which I'm wanting to get away from. I don't want people to continue on in their problems. I want to help them with solutions. Nalina says you've been through a lot and have the capability to teach about what you have learned. You know what? That's funny, because I just said that to a client the other day. She was praising me and I felt really like super humbled by it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, do you know how many times I've fallen down and struggled to get back up? Like, y'all don't, most people who know me offline have no respect for my intuitive gifts. They find it laughable. I'm kid you not. Even though I've called them out on some stuff that I had no way of knowing, they're like, oh, you just got lucky, And that's because they know how human I am. They know how many failures I've had. But, I think more important than the failures is, do you learn from them or not? And that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to share that with y'all. And I hope that that comes across in the videos. It's like the one I put out yesterday. I try to remain humble and share with you how I'm struggling, how, I've gotten out of my own divine feminine energy, and how I'm trying to get back in, with real world practical advice. Nalina says, I'm not going anywhere, I'm staying. Thank you. I appreciate that. Y'all are my tried and true people. Coffee on Keyboard says, had it particularly hard lately, feel like I'm walking under a cloud. I've been thinking I'm maybe being tested, seeing how much I can withstand, either that or Mars retrograde. Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought up Mars retrograde, because there's so much retrograde energy right now, and I'm feeling it. I think we're all feeling it. And I made like a little note of that. Like, yeah, Mars retrograde in Aries started on the 9th of this month, and we're not going to get out of it until November 13th. So, frustration city. And I threw my hands up in the air. If y'all been looking at my last few videos, I'm just like, well, to hell with it, shit. It's like, sometimes I get this way with God. People think it's very irreverent. I'm just keeping it real. I'm like, well, fine then. Fine. Have it your way yet again. To hell with my way. And at this point, I'm just going with the flow. I'm like, whatever. You see, look at all my bloom where you're planted. All my fall, autumn decor is up. We're gonna have Thanksgiving here. Fine, I accept. I accept, and I'm gonna make the most out of it. Y'all that know my story, y'all know that I was wanting to be moved by now out of this town. And yeah, it might be some stuff. Back to you, Coffee on Keyboard. It might be some things going on in your chart, that might be something I can help you with. I was recently looking at my chart, and, I have over the last 3 years gone through some hellish energy. In fact, I had to encourage myself, pat myself on the back. I guess it was yesterday, and just remind myself, girl, you've been through it. How do you get uphill with that? When you have heavy stuff going on in your natal chart, you need to like go easy on yourself. You need to be compassionate with yourself. But the good news is I'm coming out of a lot of heavy shit, you know, like late last fall, Saturn got out of my 8th house, which was like the death of me, you know. And I just was looking at my chart last night and finding out, you know, my North Node has been in the 12th house, which 12th house is like prisons, hospitals, you know. And so in about 2 weeks, it's going to move into the 1st house, which is going to start opening up opportunities for me. And, you know, 12th house is like, you know, isolation. Nobody sees you. Nobody recognizes you. You're not being, you know, and yet when it moves into 1st house, all of a sudden people start recognizing you. They start noticing you. Opportunities start coming your way. So I'm feeling really encouraged, especially once we get out of Mars retrograde. And then you pair that with my, you know, personal natal chart. I'm feeling encouraged that 2021 is going to be a better year for me. But how many of y'all are ready for this year to be over with? My God, just done with it. You know, it's like, God. So I told my friend that I house share with, you know, the other day when I was putting up all this decor, actually it was about a month ago I started decorating, and I said, hey, do you notice it's fall already? And he's like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah. And he says, I thought that started like on the 23rd or something. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm done with this whole year, but, you know, I thought I'd compromise and go on and just move on into fall, even though we're still technically in summer. And he was laughing. But, and I told him, I said, my God, if I'm still here by fall, you're going to have to put me in the crazy house. Fortunately, I'm not in there yet. Hi, Carrie. Good to see you. She says, hope all is well. Looking forward to 2021 for Aquarians. Yes. Positivity is most important. Good advice, good thoughts, solutions. It's important when we are all tired. Hell yeah. We're tired. We are really tired. And I want to know, because I know I have a lot of Aquarians who watch, or people like T. Witten who've got, you know, she's got her sun in the 11th house, and 11th house is very Aquarian, right? So what are you guys thinking about Saturn moving into Aquarius this December after having been in Capricorn for the last 2.5 years? Are you excited about this? Are you afraid of this? What do you, because I have some theories, and I have some out there, way out there theories on how this is going to go down. But I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Nalina's saying, you're all so very powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Carrie says you have a very pretty house. Enjoy. Oh, thank you. One day I will show you. I will, when I'm moving out, maybe we'll do a tour. I actually live in a very little space. I'm not going to show you right now, but see, this looks really swanky, doesn't it? This looks super duper swanky. I won't show it all to you, but yeah. I actually, this room that I'm sitting in is my dining room, my office, my closet, and my bedroom. Yeah. I told you I downsized, and my daughter's room is adjacent, and their room is a bedroom and a living room. And this is our little square house here. And we share bathrooms, and we share a kitchen and laundry room with like 8 other people. So some of y'all think I'm living large and in charge. I just try to make the most of my resources. Coffee on Keyboard says, looks like Mount Vernon waiting for Martha to do a photo bomb. Ooh, thank you. I've actually been to Mount Vernon. In the 8th grade, went on a school field trip to Washington, D.C. from Houston, Texas. Carrie says, You made it your own with good vibes. All we can do. Yeah, that's it. It's like, you know what? Fine. Look, I've done everything I can. I give up. I'm just, I'm done wrestling. I'm done fighting with the energy. Mars retrograde. Like, fine, whatever. You win. My youngest daughter and I, we went out today to a 40% off sale, and we got some more decor because we've invited some people to come for Thanksgiving. We're like, well, we thought it was going to be in Austin. It's not. Can you come out here? And what do you know? Shockingly, they said yes. So we have some people that are coming, and we're already planning, the Thanksgiving. And it's like, well, I mean, this is not quite how I planned it, but whatever. I mean, it's kind of that saying, like, tell God your plans, and then you'll hear him laugh at you. It's story of my life, right? Nalina says, do what you have to do with what you have. Yeah, minimizing always works. It does. And this is a cool thing. I've kind of adopted a better attitude about it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've been angry. I've been pissed off. God is my witness. For most of this year about this struggle. And finally, I just got to a place where I'm like, well, fine then. I'm just going to keep, elevating. I'm going to keep getting better positioned. And I wanted to respond. I don't see T. Witten here right now, but she left a message, kind of about this subject of me being angry about not getting moved back the way I wanted. And she said, I'm going to read it to y'all so I can respond to it because it ties in perfectly. She said, hey, Steph, been thinking about you a lot. Not sure why. Maybe because I'm a fellow alien. Taurus, Sun, 11th house. Anyway, thought I would reach out from my own experience. I have Mars retrograde natal in the 6th house. Right, so this Mars retrograde that we're all dealing with right now, she was born with it, okay? It's in her natal chart. But anyway, so 6th house, Sagittarius, service to others. Aries, 10th house, conjunct Chiron. So perhaps thinking Mars retrograde 12th could be viewed in a different way. See, she's helping me get perspective, and it's this. Instead of seeing it as obstacles, she says, in your way for moving forward, perhaps think of it as a way that the universe is slowing you down to stop imprisoning self by your force of will. An extreme simple answer may be 3 months from now, your dream city gets wiped out from fire, flood, BLM, haha, whatever, the universe, you prevented that. And Mars retrograde is tricky for me naturally. When I go full force with righteous justice and truth, I was correct, by the way. I came against the wrath of the big boys. I won some big battles for the little guy, but boy, did I pay from the system. So anywho, I learned to be more covert. I make small, quiet moves individually with every person I meet. No glory, no accolades. No big money, but I know I made a positive difference in every life I touched, which is in the 10 times of thousands by now. Anyway, I hope this perspective helps you, your family, and anyone. Tracy. And I really appreciated that comment. And I think she was so spot on there with that, because I came to the point where I started thinking, yeah, maybe this is for the best. Maybe I am being protected from something. And it reminds me of, how does that saying go? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, that something about start believing that the universe is not working against you, but working for you. Have you heard people say that before? And so if you just kind of look at this like, well, I don't know, maybe even though it looks like bad, I didn't get my way, it didn't happen in my timing, well, maybe actually it was for the best, because I can tell you the cost of living is much higher, way higher. Coffee on Keyboard's asking, you were wanting to relocate to Austin. Yeah. Yeah. Or at the outskirts. I'm very fond of the hill country. I've lived out, you know, in Lago Vista before, and I love the hill country. I love it. So, I mean, I could live out in the rural area. It doesn't have to be the city per se, but yeah, I wanted to move back there. That's where I feel I belong. That's where I'm content to live and die out there the rest of my life, really. But there's a lot of social unrest going on in these big cities, given, you know, COVID and all the protests and whatnot, and it's probably going to get harder. I mean, I gotta say that. So even though this is not what I wanted, it is probably what I needed, because, you know, I had to start looking at the positives of this location. I am very well supported, I'm very well positioned, and I'm able to actually get financial traction out here. I've been able to, over the last 2 years that I've been out here, I've like corrected my credit issues. Like, I had really bad credit after my divorce, and I've like, my credit's gone up like 200 points. I have people like every week sending me more credit offers in the mail. It's ridiculous. Now I get to like take my pick of who I want. So that's really cool. And, you know, I've been able to save and stockpile, and, you know, like I'm building this stockpile right now with my food. So, you know, if things get really crazy, well, we're covered, you know. And financially, I'm in a much better position than I've been in a long time, by the grace of God, okay? Because I can tell you, it's partly because of me bringing down my expenses, but, you know, there's just also been, I'm not going to go into detail, but by the grace of God, it's not been this channel. I'm going to tell you that. I gotta say that, because there's a lot of myths and misconceptions out there that people get rich off of YouTube channels. Oh, please. I wish. You know, it's crazy. I've made less money off this channel the longer I'm into it, because more people get onto YouTube and they slice that pie thinner. So I don't want to get off on a tangent about that, because Lord knows many of y'all have heard it before, so I don't want to repeat, but I just got to say that for people who think I'm getting rich off of YouTube. I wish. I really do. Anyway, let me go back and look at the comments here. Carrie's saying, I'm tired of working hard. Oh yeah, I'm tired. This is another thing, is like, as an Aquarian, and we can maybe blame it on Mars retrograde. I'm really assessing, I'm really evaluating in a very hypercritical way the return I'm getting on my investment, and I'm getting like fed up. I'm kind of hearing that a little bit in you, Carrie. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm getting that as well. Like, are you getting to a place like me where you're like, damn it, if I'm going to put this much work into it, I better get a payoff, because if I'm not, I am not going to continue killing myself for nothing good coming from it. You know, I'm just like, I've gotten to a place where I'm just fed up. And so Coffee on Keyboard was saying big cities right now scares me. My son is in I guess that means that's short for Chicago. Yeah, okay. I'm about 65 miles outside of Chicago and grateful. Yeah, I don't envy anybody in Chicago right now. Trust me. I mean, I just, like, that's rough. Oh my. Very rough. Nalina's saying that's what minimizing helps you do when you don't have an issue with your choice. You can't do anything but go up. Yeah, minimizing gives you leverage. And I'm telling you that, I mean, the downside is that if I had moved out there by now, I would not have leverage that I have right now. I have incredible leverage right now that I would not be afforded in Austin. So that's partly why I'm like, okay, fine, you know. But I will tell you, this summer I went and took a what I would call a Holy Spirit drive. This is something I do on occasion. I've been doing this since my, you know, strong, fervent Christian days, you know, when I was really steeped into the church. Sometimes I just will go for a drive and get out on a freeway or a quiet road, and I would just turn the radio off and try to tune in and listen. It's almost a meditative state where you're just tuning in and listening. And sometimes God speaks to me through music, and sometimes it's strangest music, like I don't even understand why I'm getting it, but I'll go listen, you know, I'll pull it up on YouTube and listen to it. And this one particular night, it was this summer, I went on one of these drives and I was really trying to listen to God about this move. And the song that popped up in my head out of nowhere was Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. And it's not just the lyrics, it's the video. And it's basically the message is, do you really want to go to this big city where it looks like there's a bunch of flashing lights and, you know, all these opportunities and whatnot? Do you really want to go there? Because it just might kill you. And it took me a while. You know, sometimes when God speaks to you, he says stuff that you don't want to hear. Like, you just don't want to hear it. And I see that a lot with even people, you know, in the church, people who are, you know, believe in listening to the Spirit, tuning into the Spirit. Sometimes God's talking to them and they'll say, oh, that's the devil. That's the devil. Because it's not what they want to hear. Because it confronts them and it makes them uncomfortable and it doesn't feel affirming. But, you know, that's when you know you're hearing from God, when you're being, you know, stretched and you're being challenged and you're being moved out of your comfort zone. And that was definitely a night when that happened. And I'm like, well, I hope I'm not hearing this correctly. I hope we can blame this on the devil. I didn't want to receive it. I did not want to receive that message, but here we are, you know. So again, it's just another thing where I'm like, okay, fine. You know, maybe it's for the best. Maybe I would have been thrown out into a jungle had I gone out there. And welcome in, Sonia. She says, I get songs in my head when I meet a new guy. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Devil energy is needed to know what the light is about. Hey, I like that point of view. I really like that perspective because I think that a lot of times in spiritual community, the New Age community, even in Christian communities, there's a lot of this trying to suppress and hide our shadow side. And, you know, the more I learn about personal development, you know, and the more I do my own personal healing, you know, and just psychology, just basic psychology, I learned that actually the more we embrace our shadow side, the better off we are. People who are hiding or suppressing or denying their shadow side, they're not healing it. They're actually causing it to manifest in these whack ways, you know, that are creating more problems for them later on. She says, no, I have been through so much. It's a way to help others indeed. Yeah, I think so too. And that's why, part of the reason why when I put out videos on here, I do want to talk about my shadow side like I did in the last video, you know, where I'm not just like coming in talking to you guys about, divine feminine, like I'm all knowing. No, I'm human. I'm struggling with it too, and I've gotten out of it, and I'm trying to get into it. And that's, and why, and sharing with you my experiences of why I've gotten into this shadow energy, what keeps us into it. And I've even thought recently, about putting a video out to, talk to women about getting more into this alpha female. And I think, why we get out of, why we act like beta females, why we start doubting ourselves, when we don't feel like the low self-worth that I talked about in the last video. Why do we do this? Why do we go down this road of thinking, well, this guy's not initiating, he's not committing, so must be something wrong with me. I guess I need to try harder and I need to initiate if I want this to work. Why do we do that instead of just, coming from this place of, actually, no, I do deserve this and I'm not asking too much. And if he's unwilling to give it, there might be an issue with him and I just need to release him and let him work that out and not, try to do his self-healing for him, which is not possible, right? I need to not try to bear his karma for him, because that's only going to make him more weak, I mean, I really think women, we need to talk more about this stuff. And so hopefully I'll get some videos out there, along those lines. But yeah, I think Mars retrograde has been very frustrating, and we've got some time left on that. I mean, we're not going to get out of it until mid-November. And so, you know what? I'm just like, fine, screw it. I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm not going to fight the wind. It is what it is. And I'm just waiting for my North Node to get into my first house and out of my 12th. I'm waiting for Mars to get out of retrograde. I'm waiting for 2021. I'm going to keep just patiently leveling up and positioning better, through the remainder of this year. And hopefully this frustration is not going to be with us by January 1st, God willing. Hopefully we can move on to other things. Are y'all feeling, by the way, this full moon in Aries that's going to be coming up on October 1st? Because I think I'm already feeling that. And that's in opposition to Libra, right? So it's like bringing about this energy of feeling conflicted between what you want and what other people want, and bringing up these me versus you type dynamics and relationships, and struggling to honor yourself while honoring others, because I'm going through it myself. I mean, we're almost there to October 1st, and that could be an emotional time with that full moon on the 1st. But I'm definitely trying to sort out those issues in my own head, specifically when I'm looking at what I'm going to do, with this channel and the card readings. And I'm going to talk to y'all about that in just a moment. I want to respond back to these two comments here. Sonia says, when someone shares a deep secret to me, I'm not surprised by what they are saying. Nothing is weird. It's all part of life. Yeah, I've stopped being surprised anymore. I think that if you take enough time to get to know someone well enough, eventually you're going to find something strange or weird or different about them, and that's normal, Nalina says, we women put ourselves on the back burner and help the men in our relationship do better, but really women are lonely and settle. I don't know where Mars is in my houses. Yes. Well, yeah, I think that, I relate to what you're saying, Nalina, because I've actually made so much progress since my divorce, 5 years ago, that I could never make. I could never save more than $400 when I was married. Never. Because there would always be some crisis where I'd have to dig into it to go pay basic needs, basic bills, so that we could keep the lights on, and I could never get ahead with this person, because when you match up with somebody who loves to self-sabotage, and you're hooked into that, then every moment they self-sabotage, you're sabotaged. You can't make progress with that, and you just keep trying harder and harder and harder, and keep wondering why you're spinning your wheels, why you're going in circles, why you never have anything to show for yourself, despite all the effort. And now that I've been single for 5 years, granted, I got myself in quite a hole. I had to dig out of it, largely by myself, with 3 children, and I did have some help here and there. I'm not going to deny that, but it was quite a load for me to bear alone, largely alone. And so, that's no joke, but once I really just started focusing on myself and my own healing, and stopped trying to fix him and fix our relationship and our life, fix somebody who does not want to be fixed. They like who they are. They love their, you know what I'm saying? They like the way they do it. They just want somebody who's going to be like a buffer, somebody who's going to, pick up the slack for them. This is what they think love is. It's like, you're going to accept me self-sabotaging myself and you and our kids, even if you got kids with this person. You're just going to accept me not growing. And what you're going to do is you're going to strengthen my weaknesses that I refuse to strengthen. And every time I self-sabotage, you're going to pick up the slack, and that's just ass backwards. That's not what a relationship is supposed to be. You should be bringing, a dynamic where people are adding to the lives of one another, not taking away, taking. It's, that's a very parasitic relationship where people come in looking at, well, how can I leverage your resources for my advantage? How can I skirt around my issues with your advantages in life? How can I supplement through you rather than myself? It's very parasitic. And once you get that out of your life, my God, I'm able to accomplish things with, very small income that I couldn't, because I was married to somebody who kept self-sabotaging. Like, I thought about putting out a video about that, the reality of singlehood, good and bad. So, like, the cool thing is, like, I might not have a lot of money in my bank account, but damn it, when I go to bed at night and when I wake up in the morning, I know that my account balance is going to be what my account balance is. I'm not going to wake up to surprises. I'm not going to wake up to a phone call about how, ma'am, your account is negative, and we have NSF charges now, and you're like, holy shit, or somebody calling you up saying, yeah, we're about to cut off your electric bill because, your husband told you it was getting paid the last 3 months. It wasn't. You're now 3 months behind, and if you want your kids to have lights, you have paid all at one time. I don't wake up to that shit anymore. No more. And you would be like so amazed at how peaceful and healthy I am with my little scraps. Because I tell you, when that shit was going on, my adrenals were tapped out. Man, my adrenals were tapped out. And no more. I'm not saying like I'm living large, but it's just, you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. And unfortunately, a lot of people look at relationships like this. They either look at, And we're talking again about betas, fake alphas, like I was talking about in the last video I put out, you know. They're looking at a woman's resources to leverage her resources. Why can't you leverage your own resources, huh? Why can't you do that? Or, you know, fake alphas coming across like they're independent, they don't need a woman, woman's just going to exploit them and take advantage of them, you know, this type of thing. And oh, see, I could go on. I could go on. Let me look at the comments here. I see that Scorpio Butterfly joined in. Good to see you. She says, hello, so glad to see you and glad to check you live. Oh, I'm glad to hear from you. Sonia's saying, I have a really supporting boyfriend since I met him end of July. I've healed faster. You know what? That is so lovely, Sonia. I would so, my gosh, whatever that is, can you send that energy this way? I need that. You send that energy my way. I would love to meet somebody who wants to like heal, grow, you know, but unfortunately, I think a lot of men like, unfortunately, a lot of men that I've met are like, oh, that's too deep, too serious. You know, they just want to have playtime, like little boys, you know, Peter Pan syndrome. So, my God, whatever that is, if you could send it my way energetically, I'm definitely receiving. Melina's saying, don't I know it? Not anymore. Oh, I guess you were talking about what I was saying. She's saying, I understand. Pure narcissism. Preach, Stephanie. Oh, thank you, Nolina. Thank you. And Sonia's saying, most men want to change a woman into their vision. That's not okay. Yeah, I do. I think it's kind of men and women do like try to change and fix and all of that. And what I've come to learn, number one, is you really can't. The most important thing to do is get to know this person, not who you want to believe they are, not who they want you to believe they are, but who are they really? And that takes a lot of time and patience and asking questions that count, quality questions, you know. And a lot of people don't even know how to do that, or they're afraid to do that because they're afraid like, oh, I'm going to make this person uncomfortable, or what if I find out something I'm not ready to deal with right now? I don't want to run this person off. But a lot of problems can be avoided if you just have those quality conversations, you know, and find out, you know, who are you? What do you value? And this is what I value. And how are we different? How are we the same? And if you come from a place of getting to know and accepting that other person, then your chances of really making a relationship work are much more. But unfortunately, my experience is that a lot of people are dealing with illusion. The illusion of projecting who they want other people to think they are. The illusion of dating people who they want to believe this is the one and this is that and da-da-da-da-da, right? The excuses we make for people when they're throwing up all these red flags, you know. But like I said in probably like 2 or 3 videos ago that I put out, you know, if you don't want to be lied to, you got to get to a place where it's okay. Like it's okay if this is not the person for you, if they're not the one. It's okay if it's not going to work out between you two. You get to a place of acceptance and then you're less prone to that kind of stuff. And I think also if women, you know, can be more honest with themselves, I think we women have a hard time when we realize, oh, there's some irreconcilable differences here that are quite substantial. If you can accept the writing on the wall, but I think a lot of women don't. They try to fix it and heal it and all of that, and you know, yeah, maybe even men too, and do that with a person who's like, no, I'm good. I like being a player. you know, or I like being a liar. I like not dealing with reality, you know. When you deal with people like that, how are you gonna, you know, it's better to throw in the towel sooner than later, in my opinion. Sonia is saying, he takes me as I am, with or without makeup. He loves all of me, all of my weird habits. My God, I mean, well, okay, I don't want to bust your bubble, all right? Just, I love this, and I hope that it is everything that you say and believe, but beware. I say this even in my book. Those of y'all don't know, it's my book. 6 months. 6 months, okay? Because a lot of times people can keep up a mask for 6 months. And I'm not saying that your boyfriend is putting up a mask. He might not be. It might be for other people watching this. When you start a new relationship, you know, take those 6 months to really find out, because, you know, we're human, we all have flaws. It's just a question of what are their flaws? What are your flaws? Can you live with their flaws? Can they live with yours? You know, and I remember, like, some of the narcissists that I've gotten caught up with, you know, I would say the same thing, you know, within the first 6 months. And then maybe when little things would go wrong, I'd make up excuses or whatever. But I look back now, I'm 45 years old, you know, and I've written this book because I've studied this issue a lot, exhaustively, because the pain drove me to it, to try to understand that Aquarian me has to know why, you know. And I got to this realization that these men did not really love me. They said they did, and they made me feel like I was loved, but I started to understand that love is when a person takes your best interest as their own. And these men repeatedly did not do that. I mean, in the beginning it seemed that they did, and so I tried to, like, reconcile in my mind, like, why was I getting all of that in the beginning, and then it ended the way it was, like a stark contrast, and I realized it was a love bombing, you know, that I fell in love with a love bombing. And that was quite a shock to my system, my reality, to start understanding, like, okay, this was all play pretend. Like, it was their delusion that fed into my delusion. And again, if it doesn't apply to you, don't apply it to you. But there are a lot of people listening now, and they will be later when it rebroadcasts. But I got to put that out there. You know, when you start a relationship, 6 months, because if they're wearing a mask, it's going to fall off within 6 months. So wait for it. Wait for it. And don't make excuses, right? Oh, well, he just lost his job. Well, he'll end up losing his job every 3 months for the next 20 years. Don't ask me how I know. Oh, he's just having a hard time. He's just going through hard times right now. Oh, dude's going to be going through hard times for the next 20 years. You know? Yeah, it never ends. What are quality questions, Stephanie? Hey, there is a book out on this, like having date nights, and I might do a book review of this. We might actually cover this in an upcoming video. But I mean, some of it is really obvious. Like, you know, like if you're younger, you know, you ask this person, you know, what are you looking for in a relationship? And you start finding out they just want to get laid. They just want to get laid. That's all they want, you know? Like, you really need to figure this out sooner than later, right? Like, because if you're like, okay, if both of you just want to get laid, then maybe that works, okay? Although I think sometimes at least one person, and then that dynamic is going to develop feelings. And then when the other person doesn't reciprocate, it's going to go down the drain, okay? But definitely, if you're a person of commitment, you need a person of commitment. You need somebody to match you at your level. And yeah, you want to ask that if you're going out on a date, you know, like, what are you, looking for in a relationship? And obviously, as you get more involved, like if you're younger and you are of childbearing age and you want to have kids, definitely you need to ask that person. Like, I have heard of people who have like dated for years, gotten married, and never had the conversation of, do we want to have kids? And then they find out one of them doesn't want to have kids at all and is horrified of the thought, whereas the other person doesn't. I'm like, how the hell do you marry somebody not knowing this, not ever having this conversation? But people do it all the time. They do it all the time. So yeah, maybe we can cover that in an upcoming video. Sonia's saying it took me 50 years to find the one, so it took a lot of heartache too. Girl, I'm telling you, I hope it don't take me 50 years, but I'm working on it. Yeah, I mean, I'm almost there, right? I'm 45, but my hat's off to you, and I'm happy for you. And my gosh, whatever that is, spread it around, share it, whatever your secret is. Scorpio Butterfly saying, my granny always said that if they act one way at home and act another when other people are around, get away and get away fast. Oh, I think your granny was a wise woman. And you know what, I said this basically in my book, like, watch how they treat other people who are of no advantage to them. Like, when you're out at a restaurant, notice how they treat the wait staff. Notice how they treat a valet driver, if you go to a nice restaurant like that. People who are in a subservient position or subordinate position, how do they treat people who they have advantage over, or, that person, they can't get anything out of that person, okay? And that really lets you know, because if they're going to treat other people like trash, and rationalize in their head, well, I don't care about them. Who are they? They serve me. Or, I don't need them. Like, why do I care? And I've heard some really whack off the wall reasoning. Like some of them are like, well, how they feel is none of my business. Really? Try to be more considerate. Like, I don't know. I could get on a really bad tangent about that. I'll stay off of it. But I'm with you, Scorpio Butterfly. I'm with you on that note. What else did I want to talk to you guys about? I wanted to talk to you about, just some announcements with my channel that... as you know, I did not do the readings for September because of my back injury, and I felt like Spirit was not leading me to do those readings for September. And I gotta confess to you that I haven't been the same since that back injury. I've just not been the same. I don't know what you want to blame it on, the energy or what, but... maybe Mars retrograde, hell, I just don't know. But I got to a place where I've just lost drive. I've lost motivation for doing the readings. And I'm not feeling led to do them in October. And I don't know when this is going to change. And I want to be clear that I enjoy doing readings. I really do. This is the bizarre thing. But I think it's coming from a place of anger. So again, maybe blame it on Mars retrograde, although I've been through this energy in the last 3 years that I've been doing this channel. I think the problem is I'm getting fed up with the level of work that I do. And I feel like if I am going to ever return to the tarot readings, general online, you know, that is like on YouTube or Vimeo or some other forum, then if I'm going to do that, then I might need to rework the way I do it, because I put so much work into my readings, so much depth, so much detail, and I was only asking like $3.99 for that. And I feel like I've said before, you know, how do you get people to pay for something that they perceive they can get for free on YouTube? And it's readily available, and they can't discern the difference between a quality reading and, you know, some wham bam thank you ma'am type reading, you know, a Mick reading. They can't tell the difference between a Mick reading and a, you know, 5-star reading where somebody's actually sitting with the cards and they're going through the astrology and they're going through tarot, Lenormand, oracle, and they're listening to spirit and they're imparting life coaching. I feel like people don't value it. And so there's been, I'm going to be honest with you, a bit of anger within myself, looking within myself, because this has been a soul wound for me that I've gone through. I've cycled through this several times in my life where I give something my all and it disintegrates. Like the more I fuss and fool with it, the more it falls apart. And I don't know if it's because I'm double fixed, you know, Aquarius, Taurus rising. I don't know if it's because I got my, you know, Mars opposing Saturn, which is a bitch, excuse my French, okay, in my 2nd and 8th houses. So, I mean, affliction city. But I don't know what to blame it on, okay, but I'm tired. This current transit of Mars retrograde in Aries has made me get to a point where I'm like, well, fine then. I mean, you know, like, okay. And I feel like, you know, if I'm not going to make a decent living off of tarot and astrology, then I'm going to go do what I feel like I want to do, you know, which is to put out the quality, the content that's evergreen and is hopefully adding to your life, improving, edifying your life. Because if people don't want to put cash money on readings that pays my bills, well, then I'm just kind of like done with it. Like, why am I going to spend all that time doing that if I'm not getting return on investment? I just, you know, I'm not mad at any of y'all. I'm mad at why I keep going through this. This seems to be some karmic lesson with me about, you know, and those of you who know my story, I put 20 years into a marriage that there was just no fixing, apparently. There's no fixing it. And I could go on down the list with examples in my life where I overinvested and later on what's the word I'm looking for? I regretted it. I regretted overinvesting. And so with what's going on right now, you know, I've been like, well, screw it. I mean, if I'm not going to make a decent living off of tarot, then, you know, doing these general readings and whatnot, then I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to settle for less than my value, less than my worth. If people don't understand the difference that I'm not delivering a Mick reading, they like Mick readings. They like eating off the dollar menu. Okay, then let them eat off the dollar menu. And y'all got quiet, so, or no, some people come in. So Mac joined in. Hi, Mac. Thanks for joining. And, oh, I'm so sorry, Mac. Mac is saying his dad passed away a few days ago. I am so sorry to hear that. Scorpio Butterfly is saying the first person you really need to watch how they treat is their mother. If they treat her bad, rest assured they will treat you worse. Ooh. Yeah, you're probably onto something there, Scorpio Butterfly. Melina is saying, give yourself time, be patient and gentle with yourself. Thank you. You know, that's what I'm trying to do, right? Like I shared with y'all in my last video, I'm getting off of this productivity mindset. That's a problem also with YouTube. I mean, not only is the pay so poor on YouTube AdSense, but in order to, you know, play into the algorithm, we have to be on this, we have to be like a rat on this treadmill. And you have to keep producing. You notice the channels who are doing the best with tarot on here are people who, you know, they produce videos every day live, or at least 3 times a week live. They look dead. They look like zombies. And I'm like, no, you can't have my life, YouTube. You don't pay me well enough for that. I'm not going to run myself into the ground so that I can say I have 100,000 subscribers who don't give a beep about me. I'm not gonna do it. What I'd rather do is cultivate relationships with the people like you that are listening and watching now and even later. I would rather cultivate quality connections with a few than low quality connections with many. I would rather create things that add value to your life rather than produce a bunch of junk content that is talking the problem and not the solution. And I understand that by doing this, I'm going to lose a lot of viewers because it doesn't appeal to the masses, what I'm doing. And I understand that, and I'm fine with that. Because if I'm going to be broke, I'm going to be broke for the right reasons, okay? Not the wrong reasons, if that makes any sense at all. Right? I'm not going to be spiritually and energetically and financially broke over putting out junk content. If YouTube ain't going to pay me fairly, then I'm just going to put out content that I want to put out. I'm not going to stay on their treadmill. I'm not going to be another rat in the cage. Sorry, I'm on a rant here. Coffee on Keyboard is saying, what is it that gives you the impression that people equate your work with freebie readings? They don't. They don't. But I was very disappointed because I felt spirit led to put out the money readings for the remainder of the year, and that was actually my lowest viewed ever in the history of me doing my channel, for 3 years now. So that was just another thing that I was looking at from a business perspective of, my God, I've got my ear to the ground. I'm listening to spirit. I'm doing all this research. And I even put a poll out asking people, are you interested in this? And I got a favorable response, but then hardly anybody went over there to purchase. And so that was a lot of time, a lot of work down the drain, because people were not willing to pay $3.99 for what amounted to like a 5-month money reading, because I guess they don't care about money, even though it's all Venusian energy. I mean, usually if your love life is in the crapper, so is your money, because it's all Venusian energy. But that was disappointing, because I was listening to spirit and I thought I was listening to my audience, and then I got the lowest views ever. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Because people don't value. They don't value. And Coffee on Keyboard is saying, just curious, do people say that, or is it reflected in request volume? No, nobody outright says that. I mean, I have had some clients, very few will come out and say it, but I have, like, I've had a couple tell me, like, that I charge too much. Ironically, I charge less than a lot of people. I try to make things very affordable so I can get more, you know. But people are just like that, you know. Look, this is the problem, you know. Culturally, we want to Walmart everything. Expect more, pay less. This is people's mentality. They want to treat others like, you know, they're a worker in a Chinese factory or something, mass producing shit, and they don't care if the person is just a rat in the cage. I mean, again, going back to the readers who are at over 100,000 or 300,000, and you look at them and they look like death, they look like zombies, and these people don't freaking care. It's like, hey, a free reading. Well, I mean, if you're going to run your life into the ground and, you know, never get out and, you know, see the light of day, well, that's your problem, you know. And people just don't care about the quality of life for the reader. And they flat don't want to pay. Everybody's looking to expect more and pay less, and they're not looking at quality. They're not looking at making a quality exchange or a quality connection. You see this with food. I mean, a lot of people, when they go to the grocery store, they're looking at what's the cheapest, not what is the quality ingredient here. And it's just the mentality that, I mean, I don't know. Nalina is saying, think of how musicians are treated and go the other direction. You'd have to elaborate more on that, because I'm not quite sure what you mean to say. You're moving in the right direction, she says, Stephanie. You have to be happy with yourself. And, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just like, you know what? If I'm going to work and I'm going to put my work on YouTube and people don't want to pay for it, you know, and YouTube doesn't want to pay me decently, then I'm going to put content that people are going to be watching indefinitely for years to come, and I'm going to put up content that is edifying in some way. It's adding to their life. It's enriching their life in some way. And I understand that doesn't have mass appeal, and I understand it's not really going to be favored by the YouTube algorithm, but I'm just kind of in this, I'm telling you, this Uranian, like, I don't give a damn. And y'all understand, I'm an Aquarian, right? Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn and Uranus. So that Saturnian part of me can follow the rules. I can follow the protocol. Like, I know how to follow it. I know what YouTube wants. I know what their algorithm expects. I know how to play their game and win, you know? But it doesn't serve me. This is the problem. It does not serve me to play their game. And so that's where the Uranian part of me is like, what the hell with these rules? They don't serve me. I'm not following them. And I think that wisdom knows when to follow the rules and when to break them. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, well, to hell with your rules. I don't care about your damn rules. By the way, I'd asked earlier, some of y'all have joined in. I'm just curious if we got any Aquarians here or just people who are into astrology. We've got Saturn moving into Aquarius at the end of the year. How do you think this is going to go down? Because as an Aquarian, and what I'm going through right now, trying to break these shackles off, I'm really wondering if there's going to be a lot of revolutionary energy around December, January. I'm wondering how well Aquarius energy is going to put up with Saturn putting its rules and regulations, because as an Aquarian, I'm like, fight the power. I'm serious. Like, I mean, I don't like it. I mean, I'll follow the rules so long as it's serving me. But the moment it's not serving me, I'm out of it, you know? I'm out of it. Let's see if we have some feedback. Nalina says, producers work the musicians to death for very little pay. Yeah, it's all across the board, and I'm just sick and tired of it. And that's, you know, that's partly why, like I used to shop at Walmart all the time, and then I started waking up to the way they treat their employees, and how all these products are coming from China, and the way the people in China are being treated. And I can't say that I'm, completely pulled away from, buying. I mean, how can we get away from Chinese made products? They're everywhere. But when I started waking up to, how we need to be conscious of the treatment of people who are delivering these goods and services, and make sure that they're having a quality life, I started saying, you know what, I'm not going to, I called it Devil Store. I started calling Walmart Devil Store. And I maybe go to Walmart once a year, if that. And I only go there because maybe somebody in the family will send a MoneyGram to one of my kids, and we've got to go in there, you know. But I've tried to buy, American. I try to buy local. Like I said, obviously you can't entirely get around it. Try to buy used and resale, and, going to farmers markets and local artisans and, craft shows and art shows and things like that, and supporting people who are trying to produce things, and not being a freaking tightwad, not being a miser, and treating everybody like they need to make slave wages, like they're out in a factory in China. I mean, we're degrading ourselves when we do this. And I think that humanity has not awakened to this. Like, they don't see the conditions that these people are working in. It's not their problem, and so they don't worry about it. They just keep buying, but you're kind of feeding the monster when you do that. Man, I have rambled on tonight. So, I don't know. I'm going to tell you back to the readings, as far as doing readings, I want to do them, but I will have to figure out a way to get a fair exchange for my work. Because as it currently stands, what is favored is the wham bam, thank you ma'am, free readings, which are in abundant supply here on YouTube. People just lonely, they want someone to talk to, someone that's going to understand, listen to them, give them a pep talk, encourage them. They don't actually want to deal with reality. They don't want to heal. And, I do have people who are willing, who value that and are willing to pay for it, even though, especially at my low price, $3.99. But it's not enough. It's not enough to sustain my family. So, who knows, in 2021, I might find another way. But as of right now, I'm done with the fight. I'm done trying to deliver quality on a platform that does not reward that. And so we'll see. I mean, I'm still going to do private. If anybody reaches out to me for a private reading, and I'm not raising my rates, I think my rates are fair. I've been told that they're actually lower than other people. But my rates are staying the same. I will do private readings, but the freebies or the $3.99s, yeah, I'm out of it for now. And I will reevaluate in 2021 if I want to get back in. But right now I feel like Spirit is just like, put quality content out. Do you. If they ain't gonna pay you, do what you want to do, not getting paid. Nalina says, I'm glad that it's moving out of Capricorn. Yeah, Saturn in Capricorn, very heavy. These last 2.5 years have been very heavy. I'm hoping when it moves into Aquarius, we start throwing some shackles off. Aquarius is very independent and free-spirited and independent thinking and very revolutionary. And, as an Aquarian, I'm already feeling that, like, I'm not doing that shit. And that's the difference between Capricorn and Aquarius. I mean, both of them, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn. So I've been around a lot of Capricorns who really, like, they think that we vibe. And I'm like, because they're picking up on that Capricorn. I do have Mars in Capricorn as well. And I got a Taurus rising Earth. So, but the difference between Aquarius and Capricorn is Capricorn will follow the rules even when it doesn't serve them. That's been my experience. Capricorn is very much, but this is the way it is. But this is the way it's always been done. And Aquarius is like, okay, I see those rules over there. I know, right? Aquarius is, I know. That's our motto. I know what the rules are, and I'll follow them so long as I know it's serving me. If it ain't serving me, we're about to have a showdown. It's about to get wild, wild west out in here. And that's why I've had to tell, like, I've had several Capricorn men crush on me, and I'm like, no, I don't think it's gonna work. Because you met the Aquarian that's co-ruled by Saturn. You haven't met my Uranian side yet. And if you meet my Uranian side, you're not gonna appreciate that too much. You're not gonna find us compatible. We all have gotten quiet, so I guess I am going to leave it off on that note. And I do appreciate y'all hanging with me. This has been a long broadcast. There's Jenna. She says, hi, I'm new. Are you taking questions, or is this just a live chat? It's just live chat. And thanks for asking. But yeah, I just basically told everybody that I'm only doing private readings. I'm probably not going to be doing any more readings until next year. Unless Spirit leads me otherwise, I'm probably going to discontinue the public readings. I will only do private. So if you want a private reading, it's at thecrownedones.weebly.com. And I'm not going up on my prices. Prices are staying the same. But we'll see what 2021 brings. And I'll be checking back in with you guys. We'll hopefully go live again another month from now. I'm thinking about doing these lives, just chat only once a month, so I can stay connected with y'all and make sure that the content I am putting out is resonating with you, and that I'm giving you what you value, apart from the tarot readings. So anyway, I am going to log off on that note. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, wishing you guys all the best, y'all. Be blessed.